So ready for part 2 on this Fender Tweed Deluxe. I'm going to do the hard part. I've never done this before. This is the real deal tweed. It's much stiffer material than I thought it would be. I thought it was like a cloth, but it's really not. So anyway, I'm laying it all out here because I'm going to cut 4 pieces first. You can do the sides first and then the top and bottom. The top and bottom overlap the sides. So here I'm just getting some square lines started, so and I'll mark all that out, and then I'll mark the side pieces first. So I cut them. They're going to run this direction, and for these cuts, the scissors are okay because you don't care if they're not perfectly straight, because those are wrapped around and they go back on, inside the amplifier and get trimmed off anyway. On these side pieces, the edges aren't super critical, but when I get to cutting the top and bottom pieces like these, I use the razor because it makes a cleaner cut, straighter cut. Where they overlap on the ends here, you want the top and the sides to overlap in a chevron fashion. That's the way they all pretty much are. Even the original cabinets from the 50s are made the same way. So I'm getting ready to go ahead and apply the sides. So I line everything up. I have tape marks and stuff, and then I tape the edge down so I don't lose my orientation. And fold it back, spray it with 3M high strength contact cement. Now they have 3M has another one too. It's called M77, but it's not really a contact cement. This is contact cement, and man, it really sticks. The other thing I like about this over regular contact cement is you don't have to wait so long, and you don't have to roll it. Like if you use the True Glue from Mojo Tone, it works, and it's water-based, and there's some nice things about it, but you really have to roll it hard with a nice hard roller to get everything to stick really good. And I found this is just easier. I've done Tolex, regular Tolex, and I end up doing it this way. It seems to work better for me. And like I said, you don't have to roll it or push real hard. Man, when it goes down, it sticks hard. And this stuff is relatively stiff, so it stays put. You don't have to push wrinkles and stuff out. There's no wrinkles in this material. So I got that first side on there. I'm going to go ahead and get the other side glued up. You only have to wait about 1 or 2 minutes, where with regular, say the old DAP contact cement, you have to wait 10 minutes, maybe a little longer. And you have a window. This maybe a minute or 2, and then you're ready to go. You test it with your knuckle, and if the glue sticks to your knuckle, it's not ready. It's a pretty simple way to test. And just kind of hold it up and as straight as you can, because you really can't guide it onto that other line. You might miss it just a tiny bit, but like I said, it's pretty hard to get it offline because this stuff doesn't fold easily, and it doesn't curl up or anything. It's relatively stiff. So then the fun part. That was the easy part. The fun part is trying to figure out how I'm going to trim all the corners and stuff. So I started doing it, and I had a video I was watching on YouTube, and the guy was he did it really good. So I kind of followed the way he did it, and it worked out. There was a couple of things I had to figure out on my own, and I kind of screwed 1 or 2 of those up. And anything exposed, you really want to use a razor to cut it, because at least the scissors I have didn't make a super clean cut. So I ended up getting the corners on the sides all folded up and in place, because the top actually wraps over it overlaps that the side piece as it comes around the top corner. If you've ever seen a Tweed Deluxe, you'll notice that. my seams are a little bit wider than some I've seen on original Fender cabinets, but I don't think that's critical. This is actually the front of the cabinet that I'm working on here. This is actually the back of the cabinet here, and it's kind of tough. You got to fold it around that step that you have there to hold up your back panels that you attach your back panels to, and you really got to jab it in there hard because, like I said, this stuff is pretty stiff, and it wants to stick really quick to that contact cement. So you can't do it with weak fingers. You got to push hard to get it down into that corner because it has to go all the way down in. Well, right after that it started raining, so I had to move the operation into the house. I did get it done. I got the sides all put on, so now I'm in the house and I'm going to put some tape down so that when I put that top piece on, I line it up on the edge of the tape. Right after I get this tape all lined up, I did something that I shouldn't have done. I took an ink pen and I marked it. I didn't really need to do that, and that will come back to haunt me later on. So anyway, I put another piece of tape on the top material, and you could see I had a mark there. So I took it outside and sprayed the glue on and brought it back in, and pretty much just did the same thing. Wrapped it. For this time, front and back. I folded it towards the back and did one half, and then I folded it and did the other half, and then removed the tape. And then I spent quite a bit of time pushing the material in, especially where it overlaps, so that the little step where that overlap is showed up clearly. Now here's where I'm flipping it over. This is the top here, actually, where the controls are, and this is a little tricky, but I came up with a pretty good system. You have to remember to take a couple of small pieces of that stuff and put it in the corners. Glue it onto your cabinet first before you do this, because there's no way you're going to get that to wrap around without making that big V mark in the corner. Every one I've ever seen has got that. I tried to figure out a way to do it without doing that, but that's what has to be done as far as I know. Maybe there's a better way. This stuff is not pliable. So when you push it all down, get it all worked in, you can see the little bumps where those pieces are in there that I glued down first, and they'll show forever. I kind of wish I hadn't made them go all the way over the top so far, but I wanted to make sure that there wasn't any gaps. I suppose I could have cut a piece and maybe fit it in there afterwards. That might have been a better way to do it than doing it this way. So I cut and trimmed the corners in the same way, and as you fold this stuff over, they overlap. So I try to make sure there isn't too much overlap on the underside, because my speaker baffle still has to fit through there, and we don't need, this stuff is thick, and it gets in the way. So I'll finish trimming out the back here, getting it glued down, and then I will switch around to do the front of the top. So I open it up like this. I'll take it outside and glue it, spray the glue on and bring it back in, and then you just fold it down. You're trying to keep it off the front face here as much as possible until you get that top edge rolled over pretty good, and then you can just pull down on it and pull it around to the back side of that front edge. Just like that. And that's really all there is to it. On the top and the bottom is similar. I'm using the rounded edge of those scissors to help me push that material into the overlap to make sure it's a nice clean line. There's some little frayed sections and little dings that I have to take care of over the next week or so. And this is pretty much it. Came out actually pretty good for my For my first and only tweed job, if I do say so myself, wasn't quite as hard as I thought it was going to be because of the material. There's no stretch to this stuff at all, so it lays down nice and flat. I actually made two mistakes when I went to go ahead and put the finish on it, because you got to seal it with something. And I started with shellac, and where I put that ink mark, well, that shellac took that ink and it wicked all the way up inside the tweed. I had to rub and rub on that after that to get that out of there, and I couldn't quite get it all out. I used denatured alcohol. Lucky for me, it's the bottom of the cabinet. Once I got that as cleaned up as good as I could, I went straight to lacquer. I just got some spray lacquer, and I coated it with lacquer, and I didn't have any more problems. But I was also getting splotchiness with that shellac, so don't do that first. If you want to use shellac, you can. You just got to make sure that you coat it pretty good with lacquer first, and that keeps the shellac from soaking in and getting splotchy. So that's going to do it for part 2, and we're going to move on to actually building the amplifier next, which is, for me, that's the fun part. Anyway, thanks for watching.